Based on recent studies like the Ipsos Global Happiness Survey, about 1 in 4 people consider themselves unhappy. They fall into all sorts of traps that life throws their way, and most of the time you don't even see them coming until it's too late. But they are easy to avoid when you know what to look for. So here are 15 traps to avoid in life. Welcome to Alux, the place where future billionaires come to get inspired. Number 1, the cheap dopamine trap. Now, most people just don't stand a chance here. You're a lonely individual meant to fight off the weaponization of modern technology that feeds you cheap dopamine every time you ask for it. If you don't get it, you become angry and resentful. A third of your day is spent online. We evolved to get a dose of dopamine every time we achieve something incredible. Over time, programmers figured out how to tap into those triggers, and that's why everything is gamified, reward-based. Likes, thumbs up, all of it. Number 2, the pride trap. So here's the trap, okay? You're too proud to say you don't know something, and instead of addressing it and actually learning and improving yourself, you retreat into yourself, thus perpetuating your own stupidity. Ain't that the truth? Pride and cheap dopamine are modern-day devils. You're too proud to ask for help. You're too proud to be seen trying something new. Think about it, okay? People are actually willing to sacrifice their long-term success just so they don't have to be seen as inferior or be judged by others in the moment. That is crazy, all right? Long-term success is achieved by you pursuing your goals irrespective of others. Your goal is to grow, so put the ego aside. Number 3, the being in a hurry trap. Have you noticed that everyone is in a hurry, but very few people are actually going places? Most people are in a hurry, the hurry to deliver this project, the hurry to get it done. They keep telling others that it's just this week that's going to be like this. These people confuse what is urgent with what is important. Even when the most trivial things become urgent, it's easy to fall into the trap of forgetting the important things. The most successful people out there are not busy, they are productive. Learn the difference. Number 4, the prolonged indecisiveness trap. People get hit with decision paralysis and freeze up, making no choices. And in the process, both opportunities go away and they end up with nothing. So avoid this trap at all costs. Know what you want out of life so that when you're facing a crossroads, you know which road to take. There's this Hunter S. Thompson quote that puts it quite elegantly. A man who procrastinates in his choosing will inevitably have his choice made for him by circumstance. Don't be the person whose life is decided by circumstance or by anyone else, for that matter. Number 5, the quick fix trap. Now, everyone wants a quick solution to all of their problems, right? But a wake-up call, there isn't one. The sooner you stop looking for the shortcut or the secret to success, the sooner you realize the magic you're looking for is in the work that you keep avoiding. The magic is in the discipline. Do it every day, okay? Yes, it's hard, but it's supposed to be like that, okay? You can't expect to be part of the 1%, but behave as the remaining 99%. Consistency with a focus on growth is the solution. Every day, expose yourself to new ideas and wisdom. Put in the practice. Make progress until you hit a brick wall. Then, learn some more, acquire new knowledge, overcome those obstacles, and keep moving forward. Keep your head down. It doesn't matter what everybody else is doing or saying. Be focused. And if you need someone to walk alongside you, we've got you covered. We built the Alux app to basically be your mentor, guiding you step by step on how to reach your goals and build a better life for yourself. Through daily coaching sessions, plus dozens of expert courses where we pay industry experts their expensive fees on your behalf, we sit them down in a studio and have them teach you the lessons that most helped them along the way. And if you've been sort of on the fence about making this kind of investment in yourself, let me tell you, this is the time to act, because until the end of January, we're offering our biggest app discount to date. If you download the Alux app and scan this QR code on screen, you'll get 50% off the yearly membership, a membership that will pay for itself within the first month alone. If you want 2025 to be different, you gotta act differently, okay? Let us show you the way. We'll see you on the inside. Number 6, the lifestyle inflation trap. The moment things start going well, that's when this trap starts to get ya. People usually make the mistake to increase their lifestyle alongside their earnings. But the problem is you're making long-term mistakes assuming your earnings will continue going up or at least maintain. That's valid until it's no longer the case. That's why you see these celebs, rappers, and athletes go broke so fast. At the slightest hiccup in their earnings, their lifestyle starts to eat them up. Go through a divorce where the few assets you have get split. All of a sudden, you find yourself unable to pay the mortgage on that mansion. The trap lies in playing status games. You want others to know that you're successful. You want others to see how well you're doing. It all goes back to the pride thing. Don't give into it, okay? It is a trap. Number 7, the start of life trap. Some people live with this illusion that they're waiting for something, like preparing for life to start at some point in the future. It's this idea that at one point, life will begin and all of this right now doesn't count. You know we're big fans of delayed gratification, right? But this is not it, okay? People are wasting their lives expecting an imaginary moment in their future to click somehow, and finally they'll become alive. But with every day that comes to an end, so does a part of your life. Your life started when you were born, and you've been living your life ever since. So unless you want to bet all of your chips on reincarnation, you might want to start living your life right now. Number 8, the sunk cost trap. Do you know how many people stay in unsatisfying relationships because they're too scared of being alone and starting over? Do you know how many people are staying with the same job despite the fact it's making them miserable and going nowhere just because they've been with the same company for 10 plus years? That's the sunk cost trap. It's the belief that since you already spent so much time and energy on this, well, you gotta stick with it, even though you don't enjoy it at all. Don't be afraid of change, Aluxer. Things could get better. Number 9, the victimhood trap. Have you ever heard somebody say, "Why does this always happen to me? Bad things always happen to me. I can't seem to catch a break." That right there is victim mentality, my friend. These people see themselves as perpetual victims. Everything happens to them. They're not in control of anything in their lives. It's always someone else to blame. The problem with this trap is that if you wire your mind that way, you'll never be able to escape it because the solution is not in your hands. You're just this fragile being and the world is this nasty place determined to hurt you. Ugh, just gives you the ick, doesn't it? Number 10, the plenty of time trap. Now, some of you here are the type thinking there will always be more time, until you realize there isn't. There are certain windows of opportunity that you might miss. Life feels completely different at 20 than it does at 60. Some people keep postponing their dreams, their wishes, and their goals, thinking they've got time. Now here's something that nobody tells you. When you grow up, the volume of time you actually have at your disposal goes down. And when you grow old, although that volume goes back up, the value of that time goes down. So figure out when the time is right for you, but don't go waiting too long. Number 11, savior and expectations trap. Now, this one's a dual trap, okay? Meaning it applies to you as well as it applies to others. For yourself, you're waiting for a savior to show up in your life and fix it for you. You hear people all the time say that the country needs a president to fix things up. But it ain't the president who fixes the country. It's you who fixes your own life and through example fixes the lives of others around them and their community. As for deploying it onto others, think of yourself as this savior being meant to change others. You see potential in them and judge their actions based on what they could become, not based on what they are. Both sides of this trap will hold you back. Number 12, the education trap. Now, this one is about thinking you have to get a degree or else you're a failure. People pretend that because they have a degree, they're superior to those who don't. A degree is a piece of paper you paid money and time for. More often than not, they're completely useless. The only real test of intelligence is if you get what you want in life. Everything else is bullshit. Education is what you're left with, what you can apply once that learning stops. Fortunately for you, high-quality education is free or almost free these days. Do not underestimate the value of online learning, of YouTube, of apps, or what digital courses can do for your life at a fraction of the cost. Number 13, the buy now, pay later trap. Now, this continues the trend of chaining people through debt. Stop spending money you don't have. We've said it over and over again, okay? Financial institutions want you enslaved through debt. That way, you go to work and a portion of your earnings will always go to them. That's how they make their money. They loan you some, you buy liabilities, and then you have to slave away to pay it all back. We guarantee you, my friend, you'd be better off paying on debit rather than credit. Number 14, the scarcity trap. Now, most people live with a scarcity mindset, right? To them, there's just not enough for everybody. The pie is limited, and if you don't move fast enough and get as much out of it as possible, well, you might go hungry. To them, value is fixed. The money supply is fixed, although we hear daily on the news about how they're printing trillions. To them, opportunity is fixed too. If you get a job, that means they won't find one. If you start a business, that means they can no longer start theirs. All of that is just, well, it's factually wrong. There's no pie. There's no shortage of ingredients. You can bake your own pie at any time you want. The pie can also get bigger in time. Stay away from people with a limiting mindset. And number 15, the winning by contrast trap. Now, life feels like a competition, but actually it isn't. It's more a single-player game with co-op quests here and there. Some people only care about doing better than those around them. Other people set their standards. This works if you're comparing yourself with high performers or people who are a complete mirror of your own values and goals, but more often than not, that just isn't the case. If you're surrounded by losers and you feel better that you're the least loser of the bunch, well, that's not actually winning, you're still a loser. The goal is to win your own race. You're racing against poverty. You're racing against living a mediocre and meaningless life. And a big part of it is not falling for these traps that others seem to fall into. Now, we know there are more traps out there, so it's time you add value to this conversation. What other traps in life have you identified? Let us know in the comments. And yep, as always, there's a bonus waiting for those true Aluxers watching to the very end of these Sunday videos. Today's bonus is the "it's never too late" trap. Now, there's one thing that will guarantee to constantly change as you go through life, and that's your priorities. When you're a kid, your priority is to catch the Saturday morning cartoons on national TV. Shout out to our millennial Aluxers out there. When you're a teenager, your priority is to be cool in front of your crush. When you're an adult, your priority is a stable income and life growth. You see, every priority has its own timeline, and there are things that you can only do in those timelines. You can't really plan a 6-month trip in Southeast Asia while also signing a mortgage on a house at the same time. You still have free agency at the end of the day, and you can do whatever the hell you want. But just because you can, doesn't mean it's a good idea. Don't fool yourself into thinking that both time and your energy to do things are infinite, because they're not. Now, we hope you learned something valuable here today, Aluxer. We'll see you back here next time. Until then, take care, my friend.